English 101. Professor Calaman is here. This week we're going to be looking at A Modest Proposal, which is written by Jonathan Swift. And it was written in the 18th century. So the context is a little different than what we've been reading so far. Mostly we've only been reading things that are sort of relevant to the United States in 2023. But this piece that we're reading this week and some other essays are to get you thinking about the tone of recordings that you watch or essays that you read or even your own writing ability. So you can think about a way of responding to this as being appropriate, listening, reading, understanding who's speaking, looking at satirical political fantasy, which is kind of fun. It's a little out of the norm. We are going to be talking about this in just a little bit of context. So Jonathan Swift is writing in the latter part of the 17th century and the early part of the 18th century. He was well known to be a satirist, which means that he was a little bit like, if you watch the late night shows, he sort of had humor, right? So he's writing about the landlords who were paid to work for the government, and the common people were starving. So this was kind of known in Ireland at the time as the Great Famine, or the Potato Famine. There was no real security system. So you're not expected to know the history of Ireland, but it is nice to know just enough to know that there's real poverty, that Swift is sympathetic to the cause of the average person, and that he says a shocking thing. And he is making a joke, but he kind of lays out this argument based on this joke. So he argues that an earthly death would be preferable to the misery that poor people are going to face in their adult lives. And so he's really talking about children. So that's the question that comes before us, right? So think about what you might write for your own proposal. So part of this assignment is to understand what Swift is saying and his ambiguity, and also the targets that he makes. We're thinking about why you should outline what he says for yourself, and there'll be just a short response to that. And then you're going to go ahead and start looking at your own problem and solution essay and thinking about religious differences, political differences, ways that American society has these kinds of factions as well. And so you're going to have a chance to identify a problem in your community. So in one of three areas: an educational problem, a health problem, or an environmental problem. And it should be something that's small enough to cover in a research paper that's going to be just based on something that's local to Long Island, Suffolk County. So, for example, if you want to write about the housing shortage, if you want to write about the problems in the schools, if you want to write about something on Suffolk's campus or something like that, that would be the focus of it. So we're thinking about depictions of injustices. We're thinking about problems either socially or scientifically, and then you'll write a short proposal of a solution, and then a short research paper in which you find outside sources. So again, we're writing, this week's activities will probably take, again, about 4 to 5 hours. You want to make sure to make enough time available, and just thinking about what tone has to do with writing. So as he says, I profess the sincerity of my heart that I have not the least personal interest in endeavoring to promote this necessary work, having no other motive than the public good of my country, advancing our trade, providing for infants, relieving the poor, and giving some pleasure to the rich. I have no children by which I can propose to get a single penny. The youngest being 9 years old and my wife past childbearing. So we're thinking about the objectivity, but it's always, always obvious to people that you have some kind of bias. It's almost impossible not to show your bias as a writer. So that's what this lesson is hoping to do. It's hoping to get you to think outside the box, consider tone, read a little bit about a social ill from the past, recognize that we still have some problems in our own society, identify a problem, come up with a solution, and then write your own modest proposal using a little bit of humor and one paragraph that's actually serious. Okay, so that's it for this week, and I'll be posting everything, and good luck to you, and as always, you can email me, and I'll see you out there.